Anna Jones dedicated over 20 years to a major corporation, enduring daily humiliation due to her race and lowly position. When she found out they were planning to fire her, she responded in a way that shocked the entire office, leaving even the indifferent stunned. Anna Jones, a woman of modest height, always wore her gray curls carefully tucked under a crisp white headscarf, making sure she looked neat and presentable. Her warm brown eyes, touched with both kindness and resilience, reflected the years of silent endurance and dedication she had poured into her work. Her hands bore the story of her labor, with calluses and rough patches from daily cleaning, resistant even to the strongest of creams. Now 55, she held herself straight and proud, viewing her job not merely as a task, but as a way to make the world around her just a little bit better, a little bit cleaner and more welcoming. For over 2 decades, Anna had been working as a janitor at a large corporation. She was the first to arrive in the mornings and often the last to leave at night, lingering long after everyone else to ensure every corner of the office shone. Although she was rarely acknowledged, to her role was vital. She was invisible, yes, but indispensable. She approached her job with a sense of purpose, believing deeply that every role, no matter how humble, deserved respect. And despite the silence surrounding her efforts, she took pride in what she brought to the company. However, management, and particularly CEO Tom Watson, didn't see it that way. Tom, a tall man in his early 50s with sharp, calculating eyes and neatly groomed gray hair, regarded Anna as part of the office background, a fixture rather than a person. He never greeted her, and every time they crossed paths, he made a point of averting his gaze, as though her presence was something he barely noticed. One quiet evening, after the bustle of the office had died down and most employees had gone home, Anna found herself overhearing a conversation that would shake her to the core. While she was carefully polishing the glass doors of an office, she recognized Tom's voice. He was speaking with a colleague about budget optimization. She listened closely, feeling a knot of unease as she realized they were discussing her department. Her stomach sank when she heard Tom mention janitorial roles as a prime target for cuts. "Why do we even need so many janitors?" Tom questioned coldly. "We could get by with fewer, have them cover more ground. I don't understand why Anna's been here all these years. She adds no value to the company." Hearing those words was like a punch to the gut. Everything she had done, all the years of commitment, her quiet pride in her work, her patience, and her diligence, dismissed in one casual, off-handed remark. It was as if her entire contribution to the company had meant nothing at all. A wave of bitterness, disappointment, and helplessness washed over her as she realized that, in their eyes, she was nothing more than an expendable resource. Despite her loyalty and dedication, her presence was worth less than the shine she left behind each night. The next day, after overhearing that conversation, Anna decided to confront Tom Watson. She hoped she could make him understand the value of her work and perhaps stir a bit of respect in him. With a steadying breath, she headed to his office. Anna knew this could be risky, but her sense of injustice was stronger. She couldn't stand by when her existence in the company was being erased. When she reached Tom's office, he glanced up from his monitor with a flicker of irritation, clearly surprised that she dared to step into his sanctuary. "What can I do for you?" His voice was tight, and he glanced at his watch, silently indicating how precious his time was. "Mr. Watson," Anna began, summoning all her courage, "I've worked here for many years. I give my all to keep this place clean and orderly. Recently, I learned about possible job cuts, and I'd like to know where I stand in this decision." Tom rolled his eyes, clearly annoyed, and took a deep breath as if he were speaking to a difficult child. "Listen, Anna." His voice was icy, condescending. "I'm not required to explain anything to you. You're just a janitor. Your place is cleaning up, not questioning decisions." Anna felt the sting of humiliation, but struggled to remain composed, holding back the tears that threatened to spill over. "But, Mr. Watson, doesn't my dedication to this job deserve some respect? I've worked here for years, doing my job honestly and with heart." He cut her off, raising his hand and motioning her toward the door with an impatient finger. "Respect? he scoffed, lifting an eyebrow in mockery. "Do you think any of us should respect you? You're here to do the dirty work, that's all. People like you shouldn't have any illusions. If someone more qualified were in your position, you'd have been gone ages ago." These words struck Anna deeply, and she realized this wasn't just a personal insult. It was a systemic bias. She saw his eyes filled with disdain, as if she were less worthy and even less human. Holding on to the last bit of her dignity, Anna turned and left his office. Some colleagues noticed her troubled expression, her unusual vulnerability. Though a few younger employees sympathized with her, fear for their own positions kept them silent. They exchanged uneasy glances, murmuring about how the company was becoming a place ruled by arrogance, but none of them dared to speak up on her behalf. The arrival of Mr. James Carter brought a pivotal change. James Carter, a highly successful African-American investor and businessman known for his principles and fairness, made an unexpected visit to the company. Impeccably dressed and exuding confidence, James noticed Anna right away, quietly going about her work in the background. On his first day, he observed how Anna avoided eye contact and moved cautiously, as if she were an unnecessary part of the company. He sensed something deeper in her quiet presence, and wondered why such a dedicated worker remained invisible to everyone else. Their paths crossed in a hallway, and James greeted her kindly, sensing her reserved smile and guarded look. They exchanged a few words, and he recognized that behind her quiet demeanor was someone fighting daily for respect. The next day, James witnessed Tom Watson speak harshly and dismissively about Anna's work. James observed from a distance as Anna bore the insults with quiet dignity, realizing this was not an isolated incident, but part of a culture of contempt and discrimination. James decided this behavior was unacceptable. After the meeting, he approached Tom with a firm but polite demeanor, his face calm but his gaze unyielding. "Mr. Watson, I overheard your exchange with Anna," he began. "In my experience, this kind of treatment toward employees is unacceptable. I won't support a company that disregards its workers and fosters a culture of disrespect. I demand immediate changes in the treatment of Anna and other employees. Otherwise, I'll withdraw my investments." Tom, used to making decisions unquestioned, was taken aback. He tried to defend his behavior, but James cut him off, making it clear he would not tolerate disrespect. Mr. Carter's stance sent ripples through the office, inspiring other employees who once feared losing their jobs to reconsider their silence. If someone as respected as James Carter could stand up to injustice, maybe they could too. Following James's intervention, Anna was given the opportunity to address the company's board of directors. In a room filled with top executives, including a visibly shaken Tom Watson, Anna, with James Carter's encouragement, gathered her courage and began to speak. She shared her years of hard work, explaining how she performed her job with loyalty and respect. Initially soft-spoken, her voice grew stronger as she described the daily humiliations she endured. She spoke of how her work went unnoticed, how disdain and indifference had become part of her everyday life, and how each slight slowly eroded her faith in the company. "I gave my best," she said, looking directly at the board members. "But all I received were looks of condescension and words that made me feel like I was nobody. I know I'm not the only one. This company has many people who work not for praise, but for the sake of the common goal. But if you continue to see us as invisible, you'll lose something invaluable: the loyalty of those who keep this company running." The room fell silent. Her words struck deeply, causing the board to question the true values of their organization. Many board members, once aligned with Tom, now looked embarrassed, realizing they had ignored an issue festering under their noses. James Carter, witnessing their reaction, stepped forward and firmly declared, "As an investor, I cannot support a company that disrespects its employees. If you want my continued support, I demand a re-evaluation of your values and policies." Following this, the board met to review Tom Watson's actions and the pervasive culture of disregard for invisible employees. Soon after, they announced Tom's termination and appointed a new leader committed to equality, respect, and inclusivity. This policy shift aimed to ensure that every employee, regardless of position, received the recognition and respect they deserved. Anna finally received long overdue recognition and apologies, but for her, the true reward was knowing that her story had inspired change. Her courage united colleagues, giving them the confidence to stand up for their rights and demand respect. Anna felt a deep pride in knowing her struggle had made a difference and that her example would continue to encourage others to fight for dignity in the workplace.